revealed the incredible transformation of a heartwarming imperial consort who exposed her rival. In the quaint Midwestern town of Maplewood, whispers filled the air like autumn leaves swirling in the wind. Sarah, a single mother and dedicated waitress, navigated the bustling diner where she worked while juggling the responsibilities of her 10-year-old daughter, Sophie. The weight of her struggles felt heavy, but she drew strength from memories of her grandmother, a war hero who taught her the importance of hard work. As a waitress, Sarah worked tirelessly to provide for Sophie, who excelled in school, her dreams flickering like fireflies in the dark. It was just the two of them against the world, a single-parent duo battling against the odds. When a scholarship opportunity landed in Sophie's lap, promising a brighter future, it lit up Sarah's heart with a spark of hope. However, that glimmer was tarnished when Kelly, a well-known social media influencer, stumbled onto secrets from Sarah's past, exposing them to the public. Gossip spread like wildfire, seeping into every corner of their modest lives. The once warm town turned cold, and Sarah felt the despair creep in. Her thoughts raced as she wondered if she should confront the rumors head-on or hide in silence. Her heart tightened at the thought of judgment. Sophie's future was at stake, but so was her dignity. Sarah craved a better life for Sophie, one free from the shadow of judgment and shame. Meanwhile, the influencer's commentary echoed loudly, an ostentatious display of privileges that only highlighted their differences. But in those moments of despair, an unexpected wave of support surged within the community. Regulars at the diner rallied around her. Friends stood shoulder to shoulder, unfurling the strength of shared struggle and camaraderie. Little did they know, the scene unfolding in that diner was more than just a fight for Sarah's reputation. It was a testament to the power of connection in the face of adversity. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now, let's continue. At a pivotal town hall meeting, with the townsfolk packed tightly into the room, Sarah's heart was a drum in her chest. She stepped up to the microphone, feeling every pair of eyes on her. The air was electric with anticipation. Her voice quivered, but she spoke with conviction about honesty and integrity. As she unleashed the truth behind both the rumors and Kelly's glamorous facade, she felt a sense of power surge through her. This wasn't just about her anymore. It was about everyone who fought against the harsh judgments of society. But the room fell silent, and a stunning revelation about Kelly's past hung in the air. Was this rivalry truly hers to bear, or was it part of something bigger? As Sarah faced her rival under the stark lights of the meeting hall, her heart raced. Would she expose Kelly's facade and reclaim her dignity, or would the weight of insecurity hold her back? The battle lines were drawn, and as tension mounted, Sarah stood on the edge of a transformation that could change everything. Would she seize her moment or let it slip away? The microphone felt cold against Sarah's palm as she stood there, her breath shallow and hurried. The room was thick with uncertainty, silence hanging like a dense fog. She glanced at Sophie, sitting with wide eyes, soaking in every moment. The sight of her daughter bolstered Sarah's courage. This wasn't just for her anymore, it was for Sophie, and for the many who had felt the sting of judgment like a sharp blade. Sarah breathed, gathering her resolve. Everyone here knows the kind of person you pretend to be. But what they don't see is the hurt you're causing. Each word felt like a stone hurled into still water, rippling out into the crowd. Murmurs began to swell, the tension thickening. I might have a past that you can throw at me, she continued, but at least I own it. I'm not hiding behind a facade. The applause came slowly at first, hesitant, like the first drops of rain on parched ground. But it grew, louder and more frenetic as they realized they were echoing not just support for Sarah, but an aversion to the culture of ostracism that Kelly represented. Kelly's face flickered through a range of emotions: confusion, anger, and finally defensiveness. You think you're so noble? She shot back, her voice slicing through the room. People love a good story, Sarah. They crave the drama. That's what I give them. And what about honesty? Sarah replied, finally meeting Kelly's gaze head-on. What about compassion? You've turned our lives into entertainment while you stand on your mountain of privilege. Even as the words left her mouth, Sarah felt a strange mixture of fear and exhilaration. The stakes were high, but she wasn't backing down. The storm of emotions in the room was palpable. Faces turned from one woman to the other, drawn into a battle they hadn't anticipated. Some looked at Sarah with admiration, while others, those who had bought into Kelly's narrative, seemed bewildered by her unraveling image. What are you trying to hide? Sarah pressed on, voice steady now. Let us talk about your past, Kelly. The one you don't want anyone to know. With each revelation about Kelly's carefully curated image, Sarah could see cracks forming in the influencer's armor. The community, once divided, began to rally behind Sarah as she peeled back the layers of deception, opening doors to empathy and understanding. But just as victory seemed close, Kelly's gaze became sharp and calculating. You think this is a victory? She sneered, her voice low and menacing. You've only scratched the surface, Sarah. You have no idea what you're up against. A chilling silence engulfed the room, and the flicker of uncertainty returned to Sarah's heart. Had she gone too far? As she caught the concerned expressions on the faces of those she fought so hard for, doubt flickered through her resolve. That dread crept back in, wrapping around her like a cold blanket. With a final breath, Sarah straightened her back. I've faced enough in my life to know what matters most. I refuse to let intimidation shadow my truth. But then, as she finished, a sudden uproar erupted at the back of the room, drawing everyone's attention away from the confrontation. A figure stood there, wide-eyed and shaking. Stop. You need to hear this. I know the truth about Kelly. The voice cut through the air like a siren, and Sarah's heart lurched. What was coming next? As the crowd turned, her heart raced. Was this revelation the end of her battle, or would it spark even deeper conflicts within their small town? The attention shifted instantly to the trembling figure at the back of the room. Sarah squinted, trying to make sense of who had just interrupted. A girl she recognized, Emily, stood there, clutching a stack of papers. Her usually bright demeanor was replaced by an urgent desperation. Emily? What are you doing? Sarah asked, her own heart racing. The crowd buzzed and whispers filled the air, an electric current of curiosity and disbelief. I have evidence proof about Kelly, Emily shouted, her voice wavering but fierce. I can't keep quiet anymore. With that, she made her way to the front, papers clutched tightly in her hands. Sarah's mind raced. What had Emily found? What truths could possibly shatter the carefully crafted world Kelly had built? Kelly's expression flickered between annoyance and anxiety. You don't know what you're talking about. You're just a kid playing with fire. She barked, but the uncertainty in her voice betrayed a deep-seated fear. Emily didn't back down. You're the one who's been playing with other people's lives, Kelly. You think you can just ruin people to make yourself look better? The room fell silent again, the weight of her words sinking in. Sarah's heart pounded as she leaned closer. She felt Sophie's small fingers wrap around her own, seeking reassurance. Emily cleared her throat, lifting the pages for everyone to see. I have screenshots, messages, everything you've said about people behind their backs. It's time for everyone to know the real you. Gasps echoed through the crowd, and Sarah's stomach knotted with a mix of dread and anticipation. This could change everything, but at what cost? Emily flipped through the pages, pulling out one particular screenshot, her face paling as she raised it high. Look, she exclaimed. This is Kelly discussing someone's personal struggles while laughing it off. She's been getting people to be vulnerable just so she could exploit their secrets. The murmurs grew louder, fueling the flames of emotion in the room. Sarah's gaze darted from Kelly's face, narrowed and furious, to Emily, who stood bravely facing the backlash. In that moment, Sarah felt a surge of gratitude. Emily was doing what she never could, unearthing the truth while risking her own safety. You don't have to listen to her, Kelly shouted, her voice cracking under pressure. She's just trying to ruin my life because she's jealous. Jealous? Emily scoffed, stepping forward. No. I'm standing up for the people you've hurt for your own gain. The tide was shifting. More people were turning away from Kelly, their expressions darkening as they considered the implications of her actions. Was this the moment they had all been waiting for? Was the facade finally crumbling? But wait, Sarah's voice broke through the chaos, her mind racing. If we expose Kelly, will anyone trust us again? Will we become just as bad if we drag her through the mud? The question hung heavy in the air, drawing everyone's attention. Her heart ached, torn between justice and the fear of becoming part of the very thing they were fighting against. Would they tear each other apart in their quest for truth? Just as uncertainty gripped the room, Emily's eyes softened. It's not about revenge. It's about honesty. It's about healing. Sarah sensed a shift in the atmosphere. Hope flickered alongside apprehension. Can healing really come from confronting the truth? Will they find a path forward through the wreckage that lay before them, or is this only the beginning of a new battle? Emily glanced back at the crowd, determination igniting a fire in her eyes. This isn't just about Kelly. It's about everyone who's felt belittled or bullied. We deserve better. Her voice rang with conviction, a beacon piercing through the storm of doubt clinging to the room. Sarah felt Sophie's grip tighten. Anxiety danced in her chest, but she could see the spark of change flickering in Emily. Could this really lead to healing? Or was it more dangerous than they understood? The lines between right and wrong seemed blurred now. As Emily continued to lay out the evidence, faces in the crowd morphed into expressions of disbelief, anger, and a hint of something else, hope. They whispered among themselves, their earlier uncertainty giving way to curiosity. Sarah caught snippets of conversations, each word heavy with emotion and shared experiences. Why didn't we see this before? She always acted like she was better than us. I feel so blind with each revelation. Sarah felt the grip of fear loosen just a little. This wasn't just about one girl anymore. It was a community waking up to the truth. Yet, a voice in the back of her mind asked if they were ready to handle it. Kelly's furious glare shot daggers at Emily. You're just using these people to get attention. You think this is about them? It's about you wanting to look like the hero. Her voice trembled, brimming with defensive anger, her earlier bravado faltering. Emily shook her head, refusing to be swayed. No, Kelly. I'm done being afraid. I want everyone to feel safe to be themselves. Isn't that what we all want? An uneasy silence settled over the room, the tension palpable. Sarah watched, her heart racing. She wanted desperately for this moment to matter, to mean something. But what if the fallout was worse than they could predict? Sophie, eyes wide, looked to Sarah. Are you okay? Sarah forced a smile, but inside, doubt battled with hope. I think so. We need to listen. Suddenly, Emily turned her gaze directly to Sarah, as if she could sense the turmoil. You're not alone in this, Sarah. None of us are. Emily's words echoed, striking a chord deep within. In that instant, Sarah made her decision. She stepped forward, breaking the barrier between herself and the crowd. What if we used this moment to stand together? She felt a sense of clarity wash over her, powerful and reassuring. What if we all shared our stories instead of silencing each other? Maybe we can rebuild together. Murmurs of agreement rippled through the crowd, courage swelling in the air. Faces softened, and connections reignited. Perhaps healing wasn't impossible after all. But then there was a shift. Kelly, seeing the tide turn, flared with outrage. You think this is your moment? You don't know what you're asking for. The fear in her voice was palpable, but it was also laced with something deeper. Was it the fear of losing control? Emily pushed on. Tell us more. Let us face it together. We can only grow from the truth. The room held its breath. Sarah felt her heart race faster. Would this lead to true transformation, or were they inviting another storm? As quiet anticipation swelled, the moment of truth loomed closer. What if Kelly had secrets of her own, ones even darker than what had already surfaced? A flicker of apprehension settled in the pit of Sarah's stomach. Would they really find healing, or was this only the start of a greater conflict? The air crackled with unanswered questions, and at that moment, Everything hung on the edge of revelation. The atmosphere shifted again as Kelly's face twisted with anger and betrayal. You really don't understand what's at stake here, do you? Her voice nearly broke. Those words echoed, pulling at the hearts of the onlookers. Emily stepped forward. Help us understand, Kelly. Please, we all want to learn. Her sincerity cut through the tension, hanging in the air like a fragile thread. For a moment, Kelly faltered. Shadows crossed her face, and Sarah saw the vulnerability beneath her tough exterior. Could this be a chance for real dialogue? Or was it too little too late? I don't need your pity. Kelly snapped, yet her voice wavered. You think this is just about being mean? It's survival. I had to be tough to get through. The crowd shifted, absorbing her words. Sarah felt a deep stirring in her chest. Kelly's missteps didn't erase her pain, they perhaps amplified it. Was it possible to meet her somewhere in the messy middle? Survival? Emily echoed softly. But at what cost to others, Kelly? What if we lifted each other instead? That's what we're asking for. A ripple of murmurs spread like wildfire across the room. People glanced at one another, sharing glances that spoke louder than words. I know you hide behind your bravado, but do you even know who you really are? Or who you could be? Sarah's voice was quiet but firm, piercing through Kelly's armor. Then, something changed in Kelly's expression. Her anger gave way, replaced by uncertainty. You don't know what I've been through. My mom, as her voice cracked, and she turned away, trying to regain her composure. Tell us, Emily urged gently. We're here for you. We want to understand. The audience held its breath, waiting for Kelly's next move. Sarah felt the collective anticipation thrum like a heartbeat. But even as the hope hung in the room, a small voice echoed in the back of Sarah's mind. Would sharing these stories really heal them, or just unravel more pain? Had someone been hurt too deeply to find their way back? Kelly shook her head violently, defiant but trembling. You think I'll just spill everything? I'm not crying in front of you all. There was a pregnant pause before Emily took a step back, giving Kelly space. You don't have to. But if you are hurting, that pain will find a way to show, and it's okay to embrace it. The gentleness in Emily's words wrapped around them like a soft blanket. Kelly's eyes shimmered with suppressed tears, and Sarah's heart ached for her, but also for the deeper struggles hidden in the crowd. Suddenly, Sophie spoke up, her voice a tremor. I was bullied too, Kelly. If you can be honest with us, I promise you aren't alone in this. A surprised silence wrapped around them. With Sophie's confession, the floodgates seemed ready to break. Others started to nod, murmuring their agreements and sharing their own pasts of hurt. The walls Kelly had erected began to crack, and behind them, the humanity of their collective pain started to show through. Would Kelly find the strength to lower her defenses and join them? Would they hear her truths and weave a new fabric of understanding? As Kelly's shoulders trembled, Sarah felt the weight of something significant in the air. There was a sense of reckoning, a moment hanging by a thread. Could they all really become part of a bigger story of healing? Or would fear push them back into the shadows, each carrying their own burden silently? The question lingered, heavy with possibility. What would happen if Kelly decided to join them, or if she chose to run away instead? Those thoughts sparked in Sarah's mind as she watched the tightness in Kelly's face. All they had worked for teetered on the edge of this pivotal moment, and with Kelly's response, everything could change. Kelly's breath hitched in her throat. The weight of the room pressed against her, and she felt the heat of their gazes. It was a tumultuous mix of fear and anticipation mingling inside her. Could she really share her truth? Would they see her as she was a broken girl fighting to hold the pieces together? She faltered again. I don't want to talk about it. Her defiance rang hollow, a shield searching for cracks. But Sophie, with her trembling vulnerability, didn't back down. I thought I was alone too. It took so long for me to realize that sharing my scars helped others heal. Just like it can help you. Kelly's hardened expression softened, cracking just a little, and the crowd leaned forward, hanging on every word. They weren't just strangers anymore. They were allies, connected by wounds of their own. What if they don't understand? Kelly whispered, her voice raw with fear. What if they just judge me? Emily stepped closer, her eyes filled with understanding. This isn't about judgment. It's about connection. We've all been through something, and we're ready to listen. The tension hung in the air, a palpable electric charge. Everyone waited. It felt as if the world had stilled. Would this be a moment of liberation or a crash back into the dark? Kelly glanced at the faces surrounding her, their expressions open, waiting for her truth. She felt something inside shift, a tiny flicker of hope buried beneath all the anger and hurt. What if sharing her story didn't mean vulnerability, but strength? My mom, she started, her voice trembling. My mom left when I was little. I thought it was my fault. I thought maybe if I was better, she wouldn't have gone. Gasps echoed throughout the room, and Sarah could feel the collective heartbreak. They were all right there with her, feeling the ache of being left behind, of hoping for something different. I had to be tough because nobody else was, Kelly continued, her voice steadying. But being tough made me mean. I pushed everyone away because I thought that was the only way to protect myself. The confessions spilled out, like water breaking through a dam. One by one, the others began to share their own stories, smaller moments, some larger, but each one resonating with the power of truth. Tears began to flow, raw and unfiltered. Emily's hand crept to Kelly's shoulder, a silent reassurance. I was bullied too, hon, Sophie echoed, her voice brave despite the tremor. I've hurt people trying to cope, just like you. But healing starts here, doesn't it? Something flickered in Kelly's eyes. Something that spoke of vulnerability, something that dared to hope. A hush fell over the crowd, and for the first time, Kelly felt the weight lift. Maybe she wasn't just marked by her past. Maybe this was just the beginning of something new. You think you know pain, she murmured, the tears spilling down her cheeks now unheeded. But you can't even imagine it until you've lived it. But with those words came something unexpected, a wave of relief. People were nodding along, smiling through their sadness, a collective understanding blooming. Sarah felt her heart swell with something she hadn't anticipated, a fragile yet beautiful sense of hope. Would they really weave a new fabric of support, and could this be the moment they all turned the corner together? As the room buzzed with energy, a sudden noise interrupted their bonding, a loud bang against the door. The crowd jumped, and all eyes turned sharply towards the entrance. What was about to come crashing into this moment of revelation? Did someone else find strength in vulnerability, or was it something darker? The air thickened with uncertainty, holding its breath just as they had, waiting for the next development to unfold. The door rattled again, louder this time, as if demanding entry. Kelly's heart raced, a palpable drum in her chest. Was it someone from the outside, or the embodiment of her deepest fears? Uncertainty swept through the room, tension knotting tight. I'll go check, Emily offered, her voice barely above a whisper. She took a hesitant step toward the door, glancing back at the rest of the group for reassurance. But they were too busy holding their breaths, concern etched on every face. As Emily reached for the doorknob, it swung open abruptly, revealing a tall figure silhouetted against the bright light behind. The room murmured as light pooled in around the edges, highlighting the worried expression of Alex, a friend from their old school. He'd been part of their story at one time, before everything changed. Alex. Sophie gasped, a mixture of relief and confusion washing over her. What are you doing here? I couldn't stay away. His voice trembled slightly, the weight of shared memories lingering in the air. I heard about this group meeting. Thought maybe I could fit in? Kelly interrupted, the guard that had cracked earlier snapping back into place. You don't get to just waltz in here like it's nothing. Alex's face paled, hurt flashing across his features. I know I messed up. I didn't mean to leave you all, I was just scared. I never understood how bad it was for you guys. A wave of conflicting emotions washed over the room. Kelly felt the anger boiling inside, igniting like a wildfire, but beneath it, a flicker of the old camaraderie remained. You think you get it? We've all been hurting, Alex. And you just disappeared. Please, just listen. I came because I care. Alex stepped further into the room, dark eyes pleading. I want to help, I really do. I've been working on my own stuff, trying to make sense of my past. The room shifted again, this time caught between anger and understanding. Many faces bore the marks of their own hurts, experiences painting empathy across their features, nudging open their hearts just a little wider. What if we try to forgive him? Emily suggested softly, turning to Kelly. This could be a chance to heal together. Kelly's chest tightened as emotions warred inside her. Forgiveness felt impossible. It's not that simple, she said, each word laced with frustration. But what if it could be? Sarah spoke up, her voice steady. Healing is never simple, but isn't it worth trying? It's that risk that got us all here together. A heavy silence hung in the air, the group vacillating between the pain of the past and the fragile thread of hope for the future. Kelly felt the warmth of the room encircling them, a stark contrast to the coldness she had felt for so long. Could she really open that door to forgiveness? More questions whirled in her mind, amplifying her doubt. The buzz of potential change clawed at each person, and she could see it reflected in their eyes. They all carried their own battles, their own scars, but they stood together, ready to support one another. "I'll think about it," she said finally, her voice softer. It felt like a tentative step, a flicker of light enjoyed in the depth of her uncertainty. As the tension ebbed, another sound broke the silence, a distant buzzing, insistent and jarring. Kelly reached for her phone, only to find a message lighting up the screen. It was from her mom, the name appearing like a ghost she hadn't thought of in years. "Mom?" she breathed, heart pounding. "She's trying to reach me." The room's energy shifted again, anticipation thickening the air. What did this mean? Would she embrace this new opportunity, or would the past come crashing back into her already fragile present? Would the truth be a source of healing or another wound laid bare? Kelly's hand trembled as she stared at the screen, the weight of her mother's name anchoring her in a tidal wave of memories. Confusion washed over her. Was this a mistake? Why no? She felt a mix of fear and curiosity twisting inside her like a coiling serpent. "Kelly?" Sophie's voice cut through her fog. "Are you okay?" I don't know. It's my mom." She shifted her gaze to Alex, whose presence suddenly seemed heavy in the room. Before she could lose her nerve, she swiped her thumb across the message to open it. The first line read, "I miss you. I want to talk." A sharp breath caught in her throat. What did that mean? This was the woman who had chosen silence over comfort, leaving Kelly to navigate her pain alone. Hesitation spiked, leaving her looking for answers while knowing she'd need to dig deeper into wounds she thought were covered. "Do you need to take that?" Alex asked, concern etched on his face. The group's eyes bore into her, their silent support both encouraging and suffocating. I think I should," she replied, her voice barely above a whisper. "No," Kelly added fiercely, shaking her head as that anger resurfaced. "No, I want to just sit and let her back in. Not when I've been doing just fine without her." "Doing fine or just surviving?" Emily countered gently, her eyes softening with understanding. "This could be your chance to change things. Maybe this is exactly what you need to move forward." Kelly frowned. What if it just opens up old wounds? That's a risk. But think about it, she might have her own regrets too, Emily offered, her hand pressed on Kelly's arm in solidarity. "It's up to you. Healing is complicated." Each pair of eyes around her glinted with shared experiences, encouragement wrapped in their anxious expressions. Okay, Kelly huffed, her frustration slipping into a reluctant acceptance. "I'll talk to her." Taking a deep breath, she pressed call. The ringing filled the quiet room, a tap dance of anticipation echoing in her ears. With every pulse of the ring, tension tightened like a drawn bowstring. Kelly could almost hear her heartbeat thundering against the silence. It felt like the moment before a roller coaster peak, unavoidable, dizzying and exhilarating. "Hello?" Her mother's voice snapped through the phone like a weary whisper, sharp yet familiar. "Mom?" Kelly felt her throat knot, fighting the urge to hang up. "Kelly." It's been so long. There was a pause, a swallow of caution. From the other end, Kelly could sense the flood of unspoken words. "Yeah, it has." The word hung in the air, weighted and fragile, threatening to shatter. "I'm sorry for everything. I need to explain," her mother began, vulnerability spilling through the phone line. Sophie leaned closer, listening intently. The room had transformed into an intimate haven, all eyes on Kelly, breath held, fingers crossed for her response. But before she could gather her thoughts, Alex interrupted, a fix of determination lighting his features. You deserve to hear her out. Just like we've talked about. This could be important. For a second, the world around her faded, and all that existed was the connection between her and the woman who had fleeted from her life like a ghost. Okay, I'm listening, Kelly replied, unsure of the ground beneath her but unwilling to let fear dictate her next move. While her mother spoke with emotion fragile and weathered, Kelly felt a shift within herself, a tiny venture toward a door she had locked long ago. But suddenly, an unsettling rumble echoed outside, shaking the quiet of the fragile moment. The voice on the other end muffled, growing smaller with each tremor. Something was changing, a storm brewing in the distance. What was that? Emily's eyes widened, fear inching back into the circle. I don't know, Kelly muttered, heart racing again, but this time, it was a blend of adrenaline and curiosity. The ground beneath their feet felt uncertain. Wait, what is going on? As the vibration intensified, a loud crash echoed from somewhere in the building, shaking their very foundation. Stay here, Kelly shouted, adrenaline kicked in as she dropped her phone and turned toward the door, a new kind of fear racing through her. There was no more time for old ghosts. Now, they faced something real, and the path ahead had become treacherous. What waited beyond the door? Would they stand together against the unknown, or would it shatter everything they had just begun to rebuild? Kelly dashed toward the door, heart pounding. She could feel the tremors beneath her feet, an urgent reminder that whatever was outside demanded immediate attention. The others were a step behind her, a collective urgency coursing across the group as they prepared for the unknown. Do you think there is something wrong? Like a gas leak or... Sophie's voice trailed off, but the worry was palpable. Kelly couldn't process what she feared most. Whatever was happening felt bigger than their personal struggles. Let us just check it out, Alex urged, his typical composure replaced with raw determination. His presence next to Kelly provided a tiny flicker of calm amidst the storm of anxiety. Kelly hesitated for just a moment, thoughts swirling like leaves in wind. She was torn between the conversation she'd barely begun with her mother and the chaos that erupted without warning. But something primal pushed her forward. As she swung the door open, a thick blanket of dust swirled into the room, nearly blinding her. She coughed, trying to wave it away. A glimpse of the hallway revealed shadows stretching ominously along the walls, flickering lights overhead signaling a stuttering power supply. Stay close, she ordered, her voice carrying a newfound authority. Together, they navigated the chaos of scattered paper and fallen debris underfoot. The air was charged, both with fear and an unyielding adrenaline that spurred them on. Then another crash rang out from above, sending a fresh wave of debris tumbling down. The four of them instinctively ducked. That was definitely not just a storm, Emily noted, her eyes wide with alarm. We need to find out what is happening, Kelly shouted. It could be dangerous. There was something almost exhilarating about the unknown, and as unnerving as it was, she felt alive. They hurried down the corridor, glancing into side rooms. Each door revealed disarray, tangled wires, scattered papers, and hints of a frantic evacuation. Let us get to the lobby. If there's an emergency, people will be gathering there, Alex suggested, leading the way. As they rounded the corner, the sound of anxious voices grew louder. People were talking over one another, panic bubbling under the surface as they struggled to make sense of the upheaval. Kelly felt a pang of connection to them. They were all experiencing their own versions of fear, each in search of safety and clarity. Is that Sophie's voice trailed off, her eyes scanning a small crowd milling at the end of the hall. Kelly followed her gaze and froze. A figure stood at the gathering point, and even amidst the turmoil, the sight sent a thrilling jolt through her. It was her mother. What the hell, Kelly murmured, disbelief washing over her. As if pulled by an invisible thread, she moved forward. Mom? What are you doing here? The words escaped her lips before she could think. The fear that had consumed her moments ago turned into confusion, and a desire for answers bubbled beneath her skin. Her mother's face was pale, eyes darting with urgency. "I didn't know. I came to find you, Kelly." But everything fell apart. Kelly's heart tripped over itself. Did her mom come for her, or was this another layer of chaos? Before she could process the moment, another loud crash echoed, sending a tremor through the floor beneath them. "We need to get out of here, now," Alex yelled over the din, pulling everyone back to reality. The fragments of her life felt scattered, much like the debris around her. Her emotions clashed, leaving a whirlwind of confusion. Suddenly, the path she had been hesitant to walk seemed unavoidable. Her past and present collided in this moment of crisis. But just as Kelly was about to step forward, the ground beneath her shifted again, and a piercing scream sliced through the chaos. "What was that?" Emily's voice trembled, fear etched in every word. Kelly's heart raced. What was lurking in the shadows? Would she be able to keep herself and the people she cared about safe amidst this chaos? Ahead lay the unknown, and as the sound of chaos swirled around them, she knew that whatever came next would change everything she thought she understood about her life, her mother, and herself. Could she bridge the gap of those past years while facing the emerging threat? Or would the storm tear them all apart once more? As the dust settled and the echoes of chaos reverberated off the walls, Kelly stood frozen, caught between the weight of her past and the urgency of the present. Her mother's fear-filled eyes met hers, and in that fragile moment, something deep inside Kelly began to shift. She felt the familiar tension ease slightly as she moved closer, a reluctance transforming into acceptance. "Mom, we need to talk after this," she said, her voice steady despite the turmoil around them. "But we have to get out first." Her mother nodded, a faint flicker of understanding crossing her face. Memories of hurt lingered like ghosts in the air, but right now, survival was priority number one. "Can we help anyone?" Sophie chimed in, her spirit bright despite the darkness encroaching. "There are people in here who might need us." Her innocence lit a spark among them all. Kelly's heart swelled with pride at her daughter's bravery. "Let us move. We can do this together." She felt everyone rally around her, the power of unity surging through the group. As they navigated the disrupted hallways, they came upon a doorway where frightened faces peered out, voices rising in panic. "We're here. We're coming," Alex shouted, urging them forward. In the chaos, they pulled together hand by hand, pushing the door open, letting in the light of understanding and connection that had long been missing. Each face that joined their little band was a testament to their collective strength. "Stay close. We're all going to make it out," Emily encouraged, her earlier wisdom resonating in the chaos. Just then, the ground shuddered beneath them again, and a cacophony of noise erupted from the ceiling. More debris rained down, but the group remained steadfast, a wall of resilience in the face of fear. They guided the stragglers towards safety, each step marking their progression towards a brighter future. Outside, the sun hung low in the sky, casting an orange glow across the landscape, reminding them of new beginnings and shared struggles. As they made their way to the open space beyond the building's confines, a collective sigh of relief washed over them, echoing the hopes they had guarded in silence for too long. As the crowd gathered, enveloped in the warmth of camaraderie, Kelly turned to her mother, emotion bubbling. "I don't want this to be just a moment of survival. I want to understand who you are now." Her voice wavered, but her determination was clear. Her mother's tears fell in the fading light as she said softly, "I want that too. I've missed you every day. I thought I was protecting you by staying away." Each word hung heavy in the air, a connection forged through pain but tinged with possibilities. "I know we can't erase the past," Kelly whispered, feeling the burden lightening. "But we can choose to move forward. Together." Together, they embraced, the world falling away as the warmth of reconciliation wrapped around them. Behind them, their friends watched, hearts warmed by the sight of healing unfolding. Little by little, the community began to breathe again. The earlier storm of chaos and judgment gave way to understanding. Each person had their battles, but they were united now in a pursuit of hope and compassion. "Sophie?" Kelly called out, searching for her daughter among the crowd. She found her, eyes shimmering with admiration and bravery, surrounded by their newfound friends. "You brought us all together, little star." Sophie beamed, and in that exchange, Kelly felt a wave of gratitude ripple through her. She realized that they had risen stronger, bonded by shared vulnerability. "Let us share our truths," Emily called out, lifting her voice above the murmurs of the crowd. "Let us build each other up, not tear each other down." People began to nod, the warmth of acceptance enveloping the group. As voices began to rise in conversations of healing and support, Kelly knew that this was just the beginning. They were rewriting their story, together stronger, braver, and more connected than ever before. Through adversity, forgiveness, and a newfound understanding of themselves and each other, they had unearthed a hidden resilience. As they gathered around, sharing laughter and stories, a radiant smile broke across Kelly's face. This was their moment not just to survive, but to thrive. Their lives, once entangled in shadows of the past, now danced in the light of hope's promise. As the sun dipped low on the horizon, casting hues of orange and pink across the sky, Kelly took a deep breath and whispered into the evening air, "This is just the beginning." Change was here, and it was beautiful. And just then, it hit her a feeling of urgency. Friends, if you're touched by this story, you need to subscribe now to our channel. This is your moment to show your support. Don't let it slip away. Leave a like now to help us feed the algorithm and share this incredible transformation. Comment below with your own experiences or feelings about this ending. We want to hear from you. Don't wait not even one more second to share this video with at least 5 friends who need to see how healing and connection can transform lives. This is the journey we're all on together.